it going? Welcome back to another CineFix Now Roundtable. I don't know why I called it CineFix Now Roundtable. The whole channel uses these.
And the table's not round.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes we have a little round one.
Every time we're in this room, that gets pointed out to us mercilessly.
I'm glad
in the
that
comments.
I'm glad I'm original.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. But we're back in the whiteboard room for the first time in a very long time. And this time we got some special guests. We have Jeremy and Chris from CinemaSins. Guys, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
You're in from all the way out Nashville. Yeah,
Yeah, you
Out
guys came
Nashville
from
way.
like somewhere
Out
else
Nashville way.
Yeah,
to hang with us.
that is correct. That is correct.
That makes us feel special.
Yeah.
Yes.
It takes a lot. Well, no, it doesn't take a lot. It's been a while since somebody's made us feel special. So it means a lot.
I feel special that I made you feel special.
Good.
It seems a little easy to make you feel special,
Yeah,
though, to be
it
honest.
is.
That's
Yeah.
all we did was show up.
We're not super picky. So you guys got a book coming out.
Yeah, we both actually wrote books. We've both written 2 books together as sort of writing partners. You read my chapter, I'll read mine. We keep each other honest,
Oh, cool.
keep each other going. And because we've got this platform now with CinemaSins, and because these stories have lived with us for years, we've decided to put them out. So mine is the first one coming out. It's out already. It's called The Ables. It's about a group of 12-year-old disabled superhero kids who get shoved into the special ed class at superhero high school because they're not considered real heroes. And they have to sort of find ways to use their powers because their disabilities impact their ability to use the power. So the main character is blind and telekinetic. So that's just sort of an example on how they have to try and work around their shortcomings to be the heroes no one else thinks they could be.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it. I hope people like it. And
And it's
yeah.
out right now.
Hmm?
And it's out right now.
It's out right now, Barnes & Noble, Amazon's pretty much everywhere. And
Very cool.
yeah.
Very cool.
And
I
then
wonder
Chris
who
has
that.
one coming, I guess, in the next
Yeah, it'll be in the
half
next year probably. Yeah, somewhere around there. As soon as all this dies down, and we sort of figure out everything that we're doing.
As soon as I figure out the rest of my life.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, hopefully mine will be out in the next half year, somewhere around there.
Cool.
Well, when that happens, you guys can come back.
All right, it'll be fun.
So, just if we can reel some of you back in for a second, what we're going to talk about today is kind of fun. This is, obviously you guys are excellent at pointing out all of the little intricacies of things that have gone wrong with movies. So what we wanted to talk about is like, what are some of your favorite movies, not favorite movies, what are some of the movies that you most want to be able to fix? Thought that would be a fun way to sort of backhand it.
You got
on movies.
8 hours.
Me too, actually. I don't know when your flight is.
I always come back to Spider-Man 3 because I think you take that away and you're 2/3 of the way to a perfect superhero trilogy. You've got a great director, and somehow studio pressure makes this third film ruin the entire trilogy. We still don't have a perfect superhero trilogy. We have, a couple that have come close. That's mine that I would fix, and I think it's eminently fixable. Just by pulling out Venom, which is what the studio was kind of forcing on Sam Raimi anyway, and then you sort of expand what's left, and I think you might have the perfect trilogy there.
Yeah. Well, the Venom thing didn't make any sense at all, and the only memory I have of that movie, because I haven't gone back to it since the theater, is like, well, Venom didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I remember that I could never keep Tobey Maguire and Topher Grace straight. So I was like, which one's Venom and which one's and then there was Black Spider-Man because Venom goes. And I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I was actually an extra in Spider-Man 3.
Oh.
There's a scene in a coffee shop where
Fun fact.
I'm out of focus behind Tobey Maguire.
You're the
So
out-of-focus
that
guy.
was like year 2 of my adventures in LA or whatever.
amazing.
doing extra work.
So it's your fault. You could have
My
stood
fault.
up and been like, let's fix this movie.
Yeah, fixing Spider-Man 3. Step 1: get Clint the out of it.
You were the only one in position to act.
I was the only one that
You
was able
could
to
have
fix it.
saved them, Clint.
Giving like Sam Raimi a little pep talk behind
Yeah.
this trailer. No, Sam, don't let them get to you. Don't let the studio dictate your life.
Yeah, you're better than this, Raimi.
Venom doesn't make any sense.
Well, and Spider-Man 3 does the thing that I hate a lot of comic book movie franchises do once they get to that point, is like, let's put a bunch of villains in, and then let's have them team up together because they have, a common foe that they have to go after and everything. And that I hate the whole scene where he's like, you hate the spider, I hate the spider, let's get together and, that type of thing. So, yeah, exactly. And it's like, you guys you hadn't had no scenes until now.
You've never met each other.
Yeah,
Never met each other.
Okay, all right, we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and do that. It's like Craigslist for supervillains.
We actually talked a lot last week about it, and one thing that I would argue actually worked when that happened was Batman Forever. Batman Forever is like hilariously bad. We had a whole big, I don't mean to bring it up because we had a whole big conversation about it last week, but but that whole thing with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones doing like, let's kill that.
Yeah.
That was fun because that was a campy movie, and Spider-Man 3 was just a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that bothers me even when the heroes do it. Because that
Yeah.
scene in, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but whatever. If that scene in Ultron where he's like, oh, Scarlet Witch, if you just help us out now, then you're an Avenger too. It's like, she's just trying to kill you most of this movie.
Yeah.
Just kneel down and give her a speech.
Yeah.
It's like Tim Tebow, Scarlet Witch.
And she's got a never-ending revenge boner against Tony Stark.
Right.
So why would she do that?
Well, and that's an interesting point because a lot of people talk about the too many villains problem in superhero movies the last 15 years, but I don't hear anybody talking about, as we come closer to Civil War, too many heroes.
Right. You mean Captain America / secretly just another Avengers movie?
I'm just saying, I mean, when the Avengers are already sort of there, right? Like, no one, for whatever reason, because they're good guys, no one's willing to say, maybe there's too many characters in this movie, and we had to cut too much, and it made it a little boring. I don't know, but I think that's an interesting point, because we're going to get into that territory pretty quick here.
No, we're talking about movies that we like, though. Let's
All right.
We accidentally got into an interesting conversation about
mentioned
something
a few,
else.
though,
But Cruz, what
Okay,
movie you want to fix?
I'm gonna go with Prometheus, but I think it's because ultimately my list of like what movie I want to fix the most is the movie I wanted to be good the most and then was disappointed by, and it's almost always these like the Indiana Jones. It's almost always these like, all right, if you're gonna go and go back to this universe that I loved as a child or I loved as a teenager, then f***ing do it right.
Yeah.
Right? Or just don't do it at all. Because I can see Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I don't need
I can watch that again.
Exactly. I don't need a new movie to watch
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. I can just pop in the old one. Or just stream the old one at this point. So if you're gonna go there, do it right. And so Prometheus, I love the Alien franchise. Mostly because I'm always rooting for the alien to win.
I know, yeah.
And Ripley, one of the two. But it had
it's either Ripley or the alien.
Or the
so
alien.
it's
but,
going to be one of them.
but the rest of the humans.
How did you feel in Alien 3 with the close-up and the...
I don't know. Or Resurrection, where she was kind of an alien. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was rooting
She
for
might have
Winona
been
Ryder to
mostly
die.
Ripley in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah. But Prometheus had. We were talking about outside about it being like a meal where like there's some beautiful pieces of like food in there, but they're covered in like shit sauce.
Yeah. It's one of the most gorgeous movies ever made.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
The trailer was amazing.
The trailer got me
An
most
amazing
excited
trailer.
about a movie probably in the last
It's one
10,
of the best
15
trailers,
years.
yeah.
What's her name?
Naomi Rapace.
Naomi Rapace is. I love her. They had Fassbender.
Yeah,
they had so many great people.
They did have Guy Pearce in old man makeup, though.
But when he wasn't
Yeah.
in old man makeup, they had Guy Pearce.
Yeah, Guy Pearce.
They just had so many good people. The CGI I thought actually looked pretty good. It's a gorgeous movie, and then it made no fucking sense. And it was about Jesus and like weird alien blood and goop, and there was no alien in Alien, and then there was like the misogynistic like operation machine that's from the future but
Thinly
doesn't
veiled
know how to.
anti-abortion messages.
Right, but it also like you have a machine in the future that can operate on anything except doesn't
Women.
understand female anatomy at all. So it's like, what is that? An ovary? I don't know what that
I
is.
don't
Where's
know.
your dick? It just doesn't make any sense.
I
None
would
of it
have
makes
loved an
Where's
insert
your
of
dick?
a control screen on the machine saying, "Where's your dick? Get out! I can't find your dick."
But that scene, the abortion scene, is a great fucking scene.
Oh,
It
it's
doesn't make any
terrifying.
sense, but it's a great fucking
Right.
scene.
Yeah.
And I
Like,
feel
even the
like,
scene where they wake up the head for the first time, it's a cool scene.
yeah, and I feel like that's a movie that, and maybe this is my personal feeling, that's a movie that got Lindelofted. And it got Lindelof because it's trying so hard to set up like 19 different potential sequels.
Yeah.
As opposed to figuring out what are we trying to say. It's all just a setup for like a new trilogy or quadrilogy. But even that, like they set up so many questions and so many problems that the story they're telling doesn't exist. It's just a bunch of random. It's lost, compressed into 2 hours.
So just give me a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
And then get out of there.
And then get out of there. And at the end, give me one question. Right?
But like a thematic question.
Yeah.
Something I can go talk about.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, I wonder what happened to that.
Oh well, give me
I
one.
wonder what happened to Fassbender's head.
Give me one. Give me one of each. You can give
One
me.
of
I'll
each?
leave you
Okay.
2 questions. You can give me a thematic question like, oh no, can she have children now, or is she a real woman? Because Black Widow isn't. Or
Not to bring it back to Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
or and like, and now where did Fassbender go? And then that's enough. That's enough for me to set up a sequel. I don't need to know 17.
If it's an
different-
interesting movie, I'll come back for a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need, like, I gotta come back for the sequel so that this storyline can be resolved. It's like, if it's an interesting story, like, I'll come back.
Well, this is not at all what we're talking about, but
Oh,
this
please.
makes me think about Divergent and Maze Runner and this new trend where films are a third of a story. If you watch Maze Runner, that's not a complete arc for anyone. It's
No.
not a beginning, middle, and an end. It's a beginning. And then the second movie is going to be the middle. And now we're in this era where films think they're TV episodes. And
Yeah.
we're going to put out 9 episodes of this character, and we're going to start with episode 1. But I watch TV to get TV. If I want to go to a movie, you better give me the beginning, middle, and the end, or I'm not going to like you.
We are not going to get along.
And when TV does a season or series finale that's a 2-parter, they air them at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just make it, just go from 8 to 10 instead of 9 to 10. We'll call it 8.
Well, how do you? I'm sorry.
No, please.
I'm hijacking your show. Can I have
No.
a coffee?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what you thought about the new Alien stuff that worked, because Ridley's going to make another Prometheus sequel, and now what's his name? The old
Yeah. I'm more excited about the Blomkamp thing because it's supposedly not tied to the Prometheus thing,
Right.
right? And so then I'm like,
Supposedly, yeah.
okay, here's another chance.
Yeah.
You're going to make a sequel. It's not a huge, hopefully, fingers crossed, who knows, not a giant reboot button, just a sequel. Like, let's see
Yeah,
what
there's
happens.
been some confusing, like, it might take place as though Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection never happened.
It's fuzzy.
Which is fine.
But which I'm like okay with.
Fine.
You know, it's a confusing. It's
I
going to
can
be confusing for.
But I like that they can trust that I can pretend that those movies didn't exist.
I would love that.
Without creating a plot device to tell me explicitly.
I
what those
would
movies-
love that to be the case. I would love for that to be the case.
Just have a little cry at the beginning.
Yeah.
Alien 3 and Resurrection.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't exist.
Didn't happen.
Put your 3D glasses on. Forget about those.
If you're
Big
going to do
IMAX
a marathon to get ready, just watch the first
You
one.
know, look, it's a shorter marathon now. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. But it doesn't, partially it's because no matter what they do with Prometheus 2, it's gonna fall into the multi-sequel space of like, the director has been relegated to a TV director.
Yeah.
They've been relegated to just like paint by numbers to whatever story they need to tell in order for Green Lantern to make sense when it runs into the Alien 7 years from now. And so
I really hope the Alien franchise becomes part
God, I
of
would watch
DC
Green
cinematic
Lantern
universe.
in a heartbeat.
T.
Yeah, like I kind of was having the same approach that Cruz had, where it was just like movies that I was so excited about and then wanted to be good and then was disappointed. And then I thought of Lucy, and I was just like, I mean, just complete do-over. Like there's not one thing. It's just like
The
new
ground up.
director, new script. I mean, that's a complete do-over. Same for the Matrix sequels. But I think in terms of things where you could actually like fix certain aspects, I remembered one movie where I was good kind of until the end was The Departed. When it sort of turned into, I was just like, cue the Benny Hill music to these people getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
Like it got a little ridiculous at the end there. And I was just like, what is happening? Like I remember feeling like I was like having an acid flashback or something because it just seemed really crazy. But up to that point, I just thought it was a super compelling, really good movie. So I think that was one movie where it was just like, by the ending.
So fewer people shot in the head.
At least not like back to back like that.
Yeah.
Sprinkle them. Sprinkle them.
Well, I mean, honestly, there was
Getting
a-
shot in the head.
there was a
Actually,
long-
was working at a movie theater when Departed came out, and like I walked in on the ending of that, and there were people laughing.
Yeah.
You know, just laughing in there. It felt like comedy.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Like
Yeah.
I just burst out laughing because it was mostly just like nervous slash like shock.
Yeah.
Laughter.
I will say there was a while after watching that movie that every time I got out of an elevator, I was like,
I just avoid Boston altogether.
yeah, just stay out of Boston. No, but and I do think because up until the ending, it was a very Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah.
And Scorsese usually doesn't kill his people like that. He doesn't kill his characters. Generally have to live with their at the end of Scorsese's movies. So yeah, it felt really out of place for a handful of reasons.
Well, and I don't think in the Infernal Affairs, which was based on I don't think it did that at all, and I think they may have been just trying to have some sort of deviation from it
Yeah.
somehow. Let's have
just
some sort of
forcing that
Hamlet type
twist.
thing at
Right.
the end
Yeah.
of this.
It was a real specific choice.
Yeah, yeah,
They're like, let's kill fucking everybody.
yeah.
Right.
I love that movie, but I do remember that being out of place.
Yeah.
Like I do remember, it's one of those things where it is a great movie, but it could be better if that was different.
Yeah.
I would just
Exactly.
take off that rat shot on the patio at the end, like that heavy-handed.
The really
symbolism.
heavy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because rats are always running across
Yeah.
5-story apartment
Right.
balconies.
Right.
In front of the White House.
In front of that right
Famous Wall Street
Yeah.
or that gold.
I'm with you. That was my pick. Was a movie, a really good movie that was almost ruined by a bad ending. Was The Abyss. Like the ending of The Abyss, because I love The Abyss. Like all the way through, right up until he goes down and he's like swimming with the aliens, and there's like the giant tidal waves about to take out all of mankind, and it's just like, guys, I was good. That's one that I think you could just lop the ending right off.
Yeah.
Like I was good with where we were 5 minutes ago, and then you kept going, and it's like, come on, what are we doing here now? You know?
I've never seen the director's cut of that. Is there some?
It's worse.
It's worse.
Yeah,
Is that a pillow fight ending or?
Yeah. Well, that's the Benny
Three
Hill
go
music.
wrong.
It's Benny Hill, and all the nuns in lingerie just come running around underwater, swimming. Lingerie.
They're on top of the tidal wave.
Yeah.
You're all gonna die.
But that's a movie that I think I honestly just lopped the ending off. Like he cuts the cord on the bomb at the bottom of the ocean. Fade out. That would be so much better. What else do you guys got? What did we touch on yours first? We started with you guys, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh no, he did Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 3.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess I could. Yeah, I mean, sort of going along the same lines. Talking about trilogies that could have been perfect. I think The Dark Knight Rises is something that I would fix.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those. That movie isn't terrible or anything. I mean, it's still got. I mean.
It's not Spider-Man 3 bad.
It's not Spider-Man 3 bad for sure, but
Yeah.
that's another movie, I think, because of Heath Ledger's death, and because Warner Brothers wants to come out with a movie, at a certain time, instead of just saying, let's give Nolan some time here and do something really great, let's still force him to make that movie in 2012.
Yeah.
And so that's what we got. We got this big, huge, I mean, and it gets tiring when the villain is like, let's blow up the entire city, and it's like,
This is how I punish you.
yeah.
But again,
By
another-
killing you all in 6 months.
Yeah.
I will
Another
break your
superhero
back
trailer.
and you will recover it in 20
Yeah.
days.
But yeah, that's a whole other trilogy that's just like it's
We've
harder
had
to
two
take
come really
seriously.
close, and
Yeah.
the studio screwed them both times.
Yeah.
We'll get
But
one.
I will say that I think The Dark Knight Rises is a terrible movie. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a different. There's Spider-Man 3 bad, which is over here, and then there's Dark Knight Rises bad, which is a different kind of bad, but the same
Same
amount of
level.
bad.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah, I can go along
I,
with
was
that.
like, I just thought none of that movie was connected to anything, and it was like a weird improv game.
It was.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
all right, let's go do this now. And,
Yeah.
no, they're all stuck
And
in the. And a lot of it felt like logistics notes, like from the scripts. Like, well, where are all the cops? What if he traps them all in the sewer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every single one of them.
And
He
Yeah.
gets them into the sewer, and then he blows up that one thing, which is the only way to get out of the sewer.
for
But
me,
I think, I'm sorry, I was
No,
just
I
gonna
like
say,
it.
I
Done.
think one of the issues too with Dark Knight Rises is it's made even worse by how fantastic the Dark Knight is. So
Yeah.
it's just like when you that's such a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
anyway, like it just makes me really hate The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, and shoehorning that Robin reference in. at the
Yeah,
beginning,
that
it
was-
just like
Yeah.
it was like I just sat through 2.5 hours of this, and now you're gonna like slap me in the dick with that.
Yeah. It's like Lost when Hurley's going through and he's like, oh, these voices, these are the dead people on the island. Yeah, just kind of throws that in there.
Yeah.
But The Dark Knight Rises also suffers from a thing that where the sense of place is weird. Like it's Pittsburgh and then it's New York and it's. Dark Knight is so Chicago. Like there's nothing about it that you think, oh, okay, that's another city. It's
Dark Knight Rises was tax breaks.
It goes all over the place and everything, and that's getting back to Ultron. It's sort of the when Ultron shoots action. I was railing against this. This is my biggest pet peeve in action movies these days.
This is Ultron, the director.
Yes, absolutely. The movie is edited to death. Everything is just it's a beat of a second. You see somebody kicking ass, and it's like, okay, Hulk's kicking ass, okay, great, and Thor's kicking ass, okay, great. All right, Captain America's kicking ass, all right. I don't know where anything is. I don't know who's doing what. There's a lot of shaky cam. There's a lot of close-ups. There's a lot of all that, and then there's that stupid scene with Scarlet Witch and everybody all in a rotating shot and all that. It's just. It's too much. I mean, I just want to know. I just want to have an idea of where everybody is, what the stakes are in each particular segment. I always thought that it would be better if they could just put it in a situation where Hulk is in a situation that only Hulk can do. Thor is in a situation only Thor can do. Captain America, so on and so forth. Instead of all of them just, all right, we're
all
smashing.
throwing robots.
Well, and how much of that is a function of cramming too many characters into the story?
Yeah,
How much
it's
does that
exactly
trickle down
that.
to the editing?
Yeah.
There's not enough screen time
Right.
to separate them.
And that movie Ultron, those baseball card shots in the last one, it's like. Like he's talking about just solo shots of one hero and one bad guy, and then you have no idea what's going on.
Both of those movies, The Dark Knight Rises and Ultron, suffer from introducing new characters that are actually really interesting, and the actor is doing a really good job at pulling them off, and then you're like, all I want's more Catwoman, guys. Like, you pulled off I didn't think you were going to be able to pull it off, Anne Hathaway. I thought that Michelle Pfeiffer had this in the bag. But you did. You made a cool Catwoman. I really want to get to know her. Where the is she? Oh, she's gone. Oh, here she is at the last scene. I thought they either Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, they gave them their accents were terrible, but they made them interesting. Vision, they made him interesting. Ultron, they made him interesting. They made him funny but scary. Didn't get to know any of them.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Touching on the editing problem that you had with Ultron, I actually had that issue. That was my lone issue with The Dark Knight. Is I thought that movie was cut just in crazy. If I were to go back and re-edit The Dark Knight, I wouldn't change anything structurally. I would just let things breathe a little bit.
And that's basically the point.
Morgan Freeman's got a line, and then there's a frame, and then on the next frame, Michael Caine's talking in the next scene, and it's just like you can't get your bearings. And part of that worked in the opening because a part of that is like the uneasiness of the Joker and everything. It's like that really worked there, but then it just kept going. It's like, oh no, this is just how you're editing everything.
Well, no one doesn't have a great reputation for editing action.
No. Well, and there's actually there's a really interesting video that I saw. I can't remember what it was, but it broke down the 18-wheeler chase. You see that one? Yeah. It broke that down from an editing perspective, and that is a scene that breaks literally every rule of editing.
Yep.
From who's where in the scene, and in this shot the truck is up here, but as you cut to the next one, then the trucks are swapped, and it's just a mess of a scene, and it's just a mess of a scene. It really is. But everybody loves that movie so much, and I remember walking out of it going yeah, it was great, it was good, but and everybody's like, fuck you, man.
You Ledger's dead.
Heath Ledger's dead. So I stumbled onto that video about the editing. I'm like, something. Anything else we got? Everybody got all the bitching out that we need to get today?
Think you feel better.
I have several more hours worth of bitching in me, but I don't think it's that long.
It's other work-related bitching that I need to take care of.
Has nothing to do with
No, it's
movies.
still about Lucy.
Still not over Lucy. I'm not gonna be. So let us know in the comments down below, what movies do you want to fix? How are you going to fix them? With a time machine? Let us know. Click like and subscribe. And guys from CinemaSins, thanks for being here.
Thanks for
I
having
appreciate
us.
it.
We had a
Thanks for
blast.
having us. This is great.
Next time you're in town, it won't be raining. Statistically,
Almost definitely not.
Statistically, we've been here three or four times, and it's rained every time.
Well,
It's
then I
you
don't know
guys
what-
then.
it's you
crazy.
guys.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Stay out of my town.
We'll do it.
And we'll come to Nashville next time, bring a bunch of sunshine.
All right, sounds great.
Sounds great.
Click like, subscribe, come back next time for more CineFix. See you later, bye.